So today, Google launched Google Stadia, which is a game streaming service that a lot of people are talking about, and I wanted to talk about it on the tech channel, but I just feel like there's so much Apple stuff launching today, I'm uploading this on the gaming channel because it is gaming related, and like the CEO of Google, I'm not much of a gamer, which is a great way to start your gaming event, is to have someone come forward and say, I don't do gaming very much. I'm not a gamer. That's who you want leading that event. And it's funny that Sundar wanted to be there and present for the Google streaming event, but he wasn't available for the Pixel 3 launch. He must have a sporadic schedule. Anyway, today I'll be giving you my thoughts on why I think overall Stadia is definitely premature and likely could be canceled in the long run. There's plenty to unpack, so let's just get started. So let's talk about the idea of cloud gaming and streaming a game kind of like you stream content on Netflix as a whole. I don't think anyone's really against the ideal vision of it, okay? The idea that you would just be able to launch a game instantly because all of the graphical rendering and all of the performance of your gameplay is being handled elsewhere, and you just have internet beaming you the display to your screen so that you don't have to have a really powerful Xbox or a really powerful gaming PC right in front of you rendering all the game. I think we're all okay with that idea, even with a lot of the pitches that we got from Stadia today, that a YouTuber could be streaming themselves playing a particular game and you could just hit the play button right there in the chat and instantly launch the game as long as you have Google Chrome and be able to play the game right then and there. Or that you'd be watching the trailer for a particular game and at the end of the trailer there's the play now button and you can just jump right into the game, no downloading, no installing, just streaming all that gameplay right to your device. I think everyone's fine with that, and we don't really have a problem with that concept because it sounds interesting and probably really fun for a lot of people to utilize. However, everyone's holdup, everyone's problem with Google Stadia is the how, because it doesn't take a genius to know that game streaming is not unique to Stadia, and it's been done many times in the past by other companies. We know Microsoft's working on it, Nvidia's done GeForce Now. This is not an entirely new technology, but all of us as either viewers or as gamers are out there have experimented with cloud gaming. We've discovered that it's highly a subjective experience depending on what your internet performance is. And I think the main problem a lot of people have with Stadia right now is we didn't really get many answers about what bandwidth you were going to be needing to get decent resolution and decent frame rates from Google Stadia. And Google, the company that made the Pixel Slate, the Pixel phones, the Pixel Book, they seem to be a company that easily forgets and ignores things and launches services almost as quickly as they cancel them. A lot of us are anticipating that Google is not putting much thought into the rest of us for Google Stadia. I'm sure that within the enclosed bubble at Google HQ, you're able to get great speeds, you have wonderful upload, you have wonderful download, and yeah, you can easily get your 1080p at 60, and within the right conditions, even play games at 4K at 60 with HDR and stereo sound. All those great things they talked about with Google Stadia. They talk about how being able to connect the device more seamlessly with their Stadia servers is going to make lag very, very hard to notice, but once again, all of this testing, all of this experimentation is basically taking place inside at Google, meaning once Google Stadia is available to the rest of the world, is performance really gonna be that good? And it doesn't take a genius to know. Like, just look in the comments of those videos, everyone's saying, with my third world internet and with my sucky internet, I'm gonna be able to play a game at 144p at 10 FPS. They're probably not exaggerating that much either, because as many latency tricks as Google may have up their sleeve, the experience of Stadia is going to be so drastically different depending on where you are in the world, given internet speeds for different people around the world is so drastically different. There's not a universal standard we've reached yet. There's certain people on YouTube and on the internet all the time that barely have one upload and barely have 10 download, and they're all over the place. That's a very common internet speed, sadly, for a lot of people. While other countries may have really fast internet, other very populated countries may have very unreliable internet that's always acting up, mostly because they have Google services or whatever services in the background constantly deciding, oh, I'm gonna back up this right now, or oh, I'm gonna post this right now, or oh, there's an update available, I need to download that update, which means that your bandwidth for your house, depending on what your ISP is or what your router is constantly doing this. Your download is really good 1 second and really bad the next because you have a ton of devices sharing your Wi-Fi network. So imagining this vision of Google Stadia is interesting, but likely requires a very, very good, solid internet connection to get any type of reliable and decent playback. And if you don't believe me and you think that, no, Stadia runs perfectly fine on average internet, you don't need fancy internet, it'll work fine for most people, look at the demos. I encourage you. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. Would have been one thing if Google just announced Stadia today and just said, this is what we're working on, this is what we want to do. But the fact that they wanted to demo it was probably one of the worst ideas they had today, because you can see the glitches and the problems in the demo. Now, I'm not saying Apple has never made bad demos in the past, as I am the Apple sheep, but regardless, if you're trying to sell us on Google Stadia by saying it's fast, it's reliable, you can get good speeds and good frame rates and low latency, then showing us demos that showed either the controller being vastly behind the visuals when playing with the Pixel Slate, or there being frame jumps when people are playing on the Pixelbook, that's not a good demo. You're supposed to be proving to us that you can have stability, and if you're Google and you're the ones hosting this event and you have all the best internet in the world powered by Google Fiber and you have really fast and reliable internet, and even for your demo you weren't able to get a solid, reliable connection to showcase your new service to everyone, then it's quite hard to believe you. Now, in the deep, deep future, like Google said, they want to one day hit 8K streaming and also 120 plus FPS, which makes me go, yeah, sure, Stadia, you'll achieve that. It's like one day maybe. I don't think anyone disagrees that maybe one day cloud streaming all of your gameplay and all your movies and perhaps your entire computer, one day that'll be possible, but it's not until we get over this hurdle of very, very fast, very reliable and sustainable internet that presently for most of the world is not here. Maybe if you're in some big cities or maybe in some other countries outside the US, you can get really, really good upload, really good download at an affordable price, but I would say most people on Earth, most people watching content today don't have internet fast enough that's going to promise them the resolution and frame rates that Google Stadia is promising. So that's why all of us doubt this and say, Google, why are you talking about it? Why are you bringing so much attention to it? Because it's probably not going to work for most of us. It's not like Google is suddenly going to improve all of our internet connections across the world. If anything, Google Fiber has been scaling back a little bit lately. They've been taking fiber out of certain cities, and Google cancels so many services throughout the years. They start them, they end them, they start programs, they cancel them. This is what Google is notorious for. So we can't help but notice that when they launch a service that a lot of us have doubts in, even with YouTube integration, just like Google Plus, which is now shutting down, we basically have a track record of someone not really caring about longevity of projects, which means that when they announce this and when we already see problems on the inside, we kind of doubt its legitimacy, as well as Google not really being upfront with a lot of how the service is going to work. For one, we don't know how much this service costs. I assume it's not free. Maybe they'll mine your data and sell that and it'll all be free, but I doubt it. I imagine with all their efforts towards this project and this new weird looking controller, it's probably going to be a paid service that you're going to have to pay either $10 a month for or $15 a month for. They didn't want to talk about that during this event, even though I think when we're watching an event to know more about your service, telling us how much that service is going to be is probably an important part of it. We also don't know the minimum requirements. Even if Google were to give us a rough estimate of you need this good upload, you need this good download, we could base some of our speeds, we could understand, okay, Google Stadia is not going to work for me, and then someone else who has those speeds available can say, okay, it might work for me. They didn't give us any numbers to run off of, at least as far as I've known from watching the event and looking at their website. Maybe it's buried somewhere, but as of now, the website essentially says it requires high-speed internet to get the resolutions and frame rates that we're talking about, which is very incredibly vague. That can mean anything. High-speed internet could be 100 down, 10 up. High-speed internet could be gigabit only. We just have no idea, and we have so many questions about it that I feel like they haven't answered, which is why ultimately I imagine the lifespan of this product is basically going to go like this. They launch it near the end of 2019. It requires really high-end upload speeds, which not that many people have, and it's too unreliable as a cloud streaming service, as we've seen in the past with GeForce Now working for some people, but not everyone. The titles are going to be fairly limited on the streaming service, so most people aren't going to think it's worth it because they have to spend the extra $10 a month just to access this crappy gaming experience, and it doesn't even have a ton of games they're interested in, so profits are going to be insanely low, but the server costs are going to be extremely high. So a couple of years go by and Google says, there's not that many users using this, I guess we better just cancel it. That's how I anticipate the lifespan lifespan of this product going. I could be wrong, but what are your thoughts on Google Stadia? How do you think this lifespan is going to go for it? I don't see much good happening, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about it down in the comments below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have an excellent day. Take care.